somewhere to kind of start, and then from there you'll be able to kind of lean on those professionals that can kind of help you find what you and your spouse, future spouse are really looking for.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing we're going to talk about is, the shopping for it and costs. Obviously, the most logical place to start.
Yeah.
So the first question, and
I feel like that's the most overwhelming part of it, right?
it is, and we hear this question all the time. Should we go shopping together?
So what do you think before I answer what I think?
What do I think?
What do you think? I feel like this one's going to be like one that you have a lot of insight into.
Well,
'cause Ryan solely picked out my ring.
That's true. I did.
Yeah.
And we don't want to talk about Alabama football on this podcast.
But you just talked about Alabama football.
And cake. Okay. We've got that out of our systems.
All right. Whew, now we can talk about rings.
We can move on.
So, you didn't answer the question.
So
should you go shopping together?
My preference, my thought is yes.
Yes, you think they should go shopping together?
I'm sorry. My answer is no, they should not go shopping together. My answer is that whoever's the one buying the ring should do that on their own.
Okay.
That's just my personal opinion. And again, hate mail can go to Samie at Bustld.com. But for me, I liked being able to think about you.
Yeah.
And what your likes were, what mattered to you, and all those different things, but I'm a gift giver, and I love.
That's like literally your love language.
So right, so
yeah, he's very good at gifts, and he did nail the engagement ring. So
so it was super super important for me to really put a lot of thought into what is going to be the perfect ring for Samie.
Yeah.
Some people don't think that way, so to each their own. But for me, yeah, the long-winded answer is you should do it on your own.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it could go either. So my opinion is it could go either way. Yeah. But I think that definitely if you go shopping together, you lose the surprise factor, which could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. It kind of depends. And then if you're really picky and you want like one specific ring, then you should probably go together because, your significant other is most likely not a mind reader. You can leave hints, and that could help.
Right.
But if you're like, I need this one exact ring, then it probably would make sense to go together. But it definitely ruins some of the surprise factor. A little bit. Depending. Yeah. Well, it ruins the surprise factor on the ring 100% because you know what it's going to look like.
Right.
Although I've heard people say that they like go and they pick out like 2 or 3, and then, the other significant other goes and narrows it down. So that's like a good way, kind of like in between. You go together, you choose 3 you like, and then they pick the one that's the best for you. Right. That's like a good in between.
Would you have liked to? So I want to flip the question back to you. Would you have liked to have had more say in your ring?
No.
No.
Okay. But I also feel like indecision is a real
fair.
thing for me.
That's true.
So if I had to look at like a gazillion rings, then I would have freaked out.
Yeah.
And
I've been
like,
Christmas tree shopping with you.
Okay, well, Christmas tree shopping is different because there's one Christmas tree that I want, and it's the biggest one, and that's what I want. Unfortunately, that is not normally what happens, but normally I just want to find the biggest one.
So it's a good thing that we didn't go ring shopping together.
Yeah, it does. It is. The biggest one, diamond. Yeah. The biggest diamond would have done it. No, I'm just kidding. No, I wouldn't have. But I'm an indecisive person, so I wouldn't have wanted all those options. It's too much for me.
Yeah, so I think if you know your significant other, I mean, that's how you would want to think about it, right? Yeah. It's like what matters to them.
And you've probably had the conversation of like whether or not you guys are going to get married or like where the future's going and all these things. So if it's important to you, you might want to say like, hey, it's really important to me to help pick out the ring. I want to be involved in that process. So I feel like you should kind of have this conversation before the ring comes into.
Yeah, that would be kind of crazy if you're just like, this is such a surprise. I didn't even know we were going to get married. This is brand new information.
Wow. Yeah. That's
heavy.
Yeah, that's no.
Yeah. Anyways, so you want it to be a surprise, but want to make sure it's the right style. How? You want me to answer these questions? You want to pose them back to me?
Maybe I should pose these questions to you. Should we flip-flop
Let's
today?
flip-flop it.
Okay.
And then I'll let you respond.
Okay.
And clean up the mess.
Okay. All right. Let's go.
That's classic.
What you got?
So you want it to be a surprise. You want to make sure you get the right style. I think you can ask, I would pick like maybe one friend that you can trust, that isn't going to say anything. You got to be super selective in that. The more people you tell, the more likely they're going to find out. you need to pay attention. Just listen to, things that are said. I think that
look at their Pinterest board.
Pinterest, look at but you also know what kind of clothes do they buy? What kind of furniture do they like? What kind of, accessories do they buy? Those sorts of things, because then you can pick up on the type of person they are, and you can take those descriptors to the store, and you can start to guide the salesperson on kind of what your significant other might like. So for instance, for you, you're very classic and traditional and simple, in your style, right? So for us, it was simply going to be a solitaire, had to be on a single band. And then it had to be a timeless diamond. So we went with rounds. But there's going to be different trends and there's different things going on, which you can talk to way more than me. But that's the sort of thing that you want to pay attention to is the person that you're going to marry. How would they describe their style? That's a good place to start. Another kind of, never mind. I'm jumping ahead here. Anyways, so
you're not used to answering the question.
I'm not. It's a lot of pressure.
My gosh.
It's a lot of pressure. Anyways,
Okay.
what would you add on top of that?
No, I think that's really good advice. Pay attention. And then if you if you want a particular ring, if you're the one being proposed to, I think talking to a friend or a family member, sending pictures you can show pictures to your partner, you can pin stuff on your Pinterest board and then let them know I have rings on my Pinterest board. So I think there's ways to show your style, but
Yeah.
And if you don't know, then just trust your significant other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surely. I mean,
you're about to marry them, so you should know them at least a little bit.
Yeah, and I feel the ring. I feel if you know their style, the ring is a reflection of that in a way.
Exactly.
Yeah, I agree.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so how do you know what size to buy them?
So that's tough. I struggled with that a little bit, actually. What I ended up doing was, because for me, it was super important that the ring could actually fit on your finger.
Smart.
They say that's bad luck. I don't know who they is, but
they.
What I ended up doing was I took some of the rings from your jewelry stand.
Sneaky.
Where I messed up was I apparently took costume jewelry, which is sizes bigger, apparently. You want to make sure you a ring. That doesn't really matter, I guess. But costume jewelry tends to be bigger. But when you take it to the jeweler, they can actually put it on a little ring sizer rod thing they have, and they'll kind of give you a general idea of kind of where it was. I ended up having yours resized, only to have it resized back to the original size that it was, which is interesting.
So you're right the first time.
I was right. Yeah, off the shelf was right.
Oh.
Off the shelf was correct, but I was too afraid of it not fitting. So
yeah. I could see that. I feel I would have been kind of upset about that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you go together, that's another plus for going together is that you can literally be sized in the shop.
Yeah.
So that is a plus is that you're going to have
true.
the right size ring 100%.
Now what I did though is I proposed and had the jeweler ready for us to come in later that day to make sure everything was polished, clean, perfect. And size. We ended up getting something to get it sized correctly for you that day. They put little
they did. Yeah, I
bumps
forgot
on
about
there,
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of cool. Something to think about. You have options, so ask your jeweler about that.
Yeah, that's true.
I can't believe I'm answering these questions, guys.
Look at you.
This is a big deal.
But like you said, the rings can be resized after the proposal
Right.
too. So it's not the end of the world if the ring is too small or too big.
Right.
It's really not.
It
might feel like it in the moment, but it's actually really not.
Right.
I feel that happens a lot, and people have to send their ring off. And I've met with brides who come in and they're like, I'm engaged, but I don't have my ring. It's at the jeweler because it was the wrong size.
Yeah.
It's they finally get their ring back a week later, but it's really actually not the end of the world. So you can always resize it later.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't stress about that too much.
Yeah.
Although it can feel like a big deal. Okay, so how much should you spend?
Ooh, the old rule I think was 2 months' salary or something like that.
Yeah, but now there's really no rule around it.
I would say spend what you feel is appropriate for you and your family. Remember, you are starting a family together.
Yeah.
Remember that you have a wedding to plan.
Yeah.
Don't go crazy. Don't overextend yourself.
Yeah, I think you have to feel comfortable with the amount you spend.
Just
don't do anything crazy that you're going to like.
Don't regret it.
Yeah.
And don't have anyone resent anyone because they overspent. Again,
fair.
You know your spouse or your spouse to be, if they would be upset at you for spending so much on something, then that's a good barometer for you. I think every couple is different.
Yeah.
And if you think that you spent too little, don't be cheap either. But
right.
And that definition is for each individual couple, not
it really is
for anyone else to tell you.
Yeah. And I think that's like really good advice. Don't let other people peer pressure you into spending money that you don't want to spend or don't feel comfortable spending, and then you're like starting your family like in debt or
exactly
things like that. We were joking before about the ring being forever, but you can always change out the ring later on in life if it's something that you're like, maybe 10 years down the road, well, spend a little more money when we're more stable or whatever.
In 10 years though, it's probably not going to matter as much.
No.
Like in terms of buying another ring.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So be comfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's really good advice.
And also just don't be pressured by people.
All around.
That's just good life advice. But with this process, like you're overwhelmed, as you should be. It's a huge investment emotionally and financially.
Yeah.
But don't be pressured. I wouldn't go in and say, okay, I'm buying something today. I would sit on it for at least 48 hours, me personally. And then, and really just think about it. Make sure you're okay with it. If the salesperson's trying to pressure you hardcore, I would question why.
Yeah, that's actually good advice.
Just, when the person I bought it from, like we worked together for weeks, kind of working through it, talking through it. And yeah.
Yeah. And you ended up going to other shops and comparing, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And then coming back
Came
to where
back
you wanted.
and wanted to see what I was getting, what the comparisons were.
Yeah.
All those different things.
Yeah.
Yep. There's a lot to weigh.
I feel like if you don't go together too, you got to be real sneaky because you got to like get away from each
That was
other.
hard. I was going, yeah.
There are some benefits of going together, guys, because you don't have to be as sneaky.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.